to all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. I'm Shawn Whittington, and I'm the host of this show, which is the Paranormal Ministry. I'm a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted home, my very haunted home, where I live. Thank you all for tuning in, because I don't have a show without you guys, and we have a very special guest lined up. And so let's get right to it. Let's check the prayer urn. Rita C. from Michigan. I started the new year with a bunch of New Year's resolutions. I can already tell where this is going. Can you offer up a prayer to the Lord to give me strength? That is a funny and yet very nice request, Rita, and I most certainly will. And I get a lot of that around this time of year. Me personally, many, many years ago, I stopped doing resolutions because it almost seemed like as soon as I slapped the label resolution on it, I crashed and burned big time. So I don't do that anymore. Um, but yes, being obviously you're Christian or Catholic, and being uh, asking for this means you believe in God. So listen, just offer things up to God. I do it all the time, and you'll be surprised what will happen. But it's all a part of perseverance. Just persevere. Ask God for help. Offer things up to Him and persevere. Let me find a nice prayer for you. Okay, this is a beautiful one. I offer this prayer up for Rita in Michigan. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. O Sacred Heart of Jesus, living and life-giving fountain of eternal life, infinite treasure of the divinity and glowing furnace of love, you are my refuge and my sanctuary. O adorable and glorious Savior, consume my heart with that burning fire that ever inflames your heart. Pour down on my soul those graces which flow from your love. Let my heart be so united with yours that our wills may be one, and mine may in all things be conformed to yours. May your will be the rule of both my desires and my actions. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hang in there, Rita. Reach out to me anytime and let me know how this battle with the resolutions is going. Just remember, offer your challenges up to God and ask for help and persevere. Be strong. You can do it. Okay, let's check the Paranormal Ministry mailbag.
Hey, Shawn, before you go there, I wanted to bring up this statement that you got from Isabel. This is right down your alley.
Boom. Good evening, everyone. Hi, Isabel. Happy San Antonio. It's a happy San Anton Day. San Antonio Day. Anton Day. Tomorrow is the saint patron of domestic animals. All pets will be blessed. That is wonderful. And I'll tell you what, you probably already know, Isabel, that when I'm not doing this, and I'm a minister 24/7, but I also work as a veterinary technician at a very busy animal hospital here in Las Vegas. So not too far from me, as always, St. Francis, patron saint of animals. I pray to him all the time. I have a mastiff, and I have about 14 cats living outside of my yard. So thank you for that. That was very cool. And maybe this, you see, today is Monday. Maybe this Friday I'll offer up a really nice St. Francis prayer for the animals. But thank you so much for that comment, Isabel. Okay, from the mailbag, Josh R. from Colorado. Hey, Josh, you live with where my co-producers live. You don't have to tell us where you live because I don't. You don't want them knowing where you live. I think my house is haunted. I would like confirmation, but I don't want a paranormal team, a psychic, or to conduct a seance. Suggestions. Hmm. Okay. I'm a big fan of not rocking the boat. If you think your house is haunted, but you don't believe there's anything malevolent there, and you're not bothered by it, just live and let live. Don't poke the bear. Don't rock the boat. Of course, if you are having issues, just walk around your house occasionally, do a little filming, take some photos, see what you might capture in your photos. Maybe leave a, you know what? I got a good idea for you. Now, I know critics out there are going to say, if you don't conjure, Rev, then why are you instructing this gentleman to do an EVP session? Some consider an EVP session a form of conjuring, and I'm in that camp to a certain degree, but I will take it. I don't have one handy here. I'll take my handheld voiceover recorder that takes the little cassette decks. I will script out some questions and I will actually record myself asking questions. So it's not actually me doing it. And I'll ask a question, wait about 30 seconds, ask the second question, wait about 30 seconds, and on and on. Ask a half a dozen to a dozen questions. Um, and then I will rewind that back. I will put the tape recorder on a table, turn the volume up, and I'll press play. Um, and record on another tape recorder. You got to have two. So when one tape recorder is asking the questions, it's creating its own white noise, and so is the other tape recorder, which is a voiceover recorder, recording this. And you'd be surprised what you might get. And if that's all you're looking for is just some confirmation that your house is haunted, great. If if you get this confirmation and you don't want these spirits in your home, then you're going to have to bite the bullet and get a team over there or somebody, a paranormal clergy or a psychic who's gifted that you can trust to come over and try and figure out why the spirits are there and get them to cross over. But if you're just looking for some confirmation, just um, try an EVP session, take some photos around your house. Okay, keep me posted, Josh, on that. If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. Remember, my wife and I don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So, if you're there visiting, a lot of cool things to see. Keep that in mind. And I know times are tough, but if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send our ministry in a small donation. I promise you it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. In addition to being an ordained exorcist, I'm also a certified spiritual advisor. So if you're having issues of a spiritual nature not attached to the paranormal, and you'd like to make an appointment to speak with me about that, there's a place to make an appointment to speak with me. But don't leave the website without navigating over to the page called the WSE course/book. On that page, you'll find the Ghost Store. Lots of cool things to buy if you go for that sort of stuff. And everything you do buy, part of the proceeds go to many charities that I support. So that's a good deed. But scroll down a little bit further, you'll run into my new haunted autobiography, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry. And I quote, scariest book I ever published. That was Annette Munich, owner of Stellium Books, my publisher. But don't let that scare you off of purchasing a copy. If you haven't done your good deed for the day yet, part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my book goes to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and the ASPCA. So it's a no brainer. You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. How cool is that? One more thing, real quick. You can get the book a little less expensive on Amazon. But if you buy the book from me, I will autograph it for you and it leaves my house here and it'll come to you in a house blessing kit. And I don't know if you guys can see this. Bottom photo, I got that apparition of a small child. I'm not sure if it's a little boy or a little girl at an abandoned location out in the middle of the Mojave Desert. The docents asked me to come out there and investigate. Since I finished this book and I started having author's copies come here and sit here for a while in the office, Many people that I've sent this book to that left my office here reported having seen that apparition in their home after receiving the book. I find that absolutely incredible. My wife and I have too seen that apparition here in the home. It's not malevolent. We don't believe it's malevolent. But if you have purchased the book from me, autographed copy from me, and you've had paranormal issues, oh, the things that my publisher could tell you about what happened to her while editing the book would blow you away. That would make a good book. But if you have purchased my book and you've had some paranormal issues, I want to hear your story. Reach out to me, let me know, because you never know where your story may end up. It may end up in a book, it may end up in a show. You never know. So I want to hear from you. Scroll down a little bit further. On that page, you'll see the Worldwide Society of Exorcists, which I'm a founding member. I offer a 12-week online college level course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare, through the WSE. And this is the course for all you true warriors for Christ that feel a calling and a longing to want to have more knowledge when it comes to drawing your line in the sand, making a stand, circling the wagons, and putting up a good fight against, God forbid, true evil if it ever comes calling. That's the course for you. No, you're not going to learn how to be an exorcist. That's a completely different calling. But this will be introduction to spiritual warfare through my eyes, what I've experienced and how I've dealt with that, and the deliverance ministry over the last few years. You can enroll right there in the course on the website. If you want a little more knowledge about the course before making that type of commitment, there is a Worldwide Society of Exorcists Facebook page. You can go there, read about the course, or reach out to me, talk to me about the course, and we'll figure out if it's the course for you. Most importantly, please keep all of my former, current, and future students in your prayers. Having said that, all of my students that graduate get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion, suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed gifts that you can only get from yours truly. Okay, the moment has come, and the reason why you have all tuned in. And we're going to do something that we've never done before here on the show. We are going to travel through time. Are you ready? Hang on. Here we go. Welcome to January 17th from Australia. My special guest tonight, mentalist extraordinaire, the one and only Jason D. Varga. Jason, how are you, brother?
Good, good. A little bit hot here today, but other than that, keeping well.
You look very handsome and very relaxed tonight. You know, I love to tell this story to everybody that I get from Australia. I'm not, you know, the people that I love and respect out there, and you are one of them. I can count on one hand. I don't go out there and visit with guests a lot. I probably should because I love the country. I love everybody that I've met from Australia. But I love to tell this story. Two or three guests back that I had from Australia. She's sitting here and we're having the interview, and I hear somebody banging on the back door, banging, banging, banging. Finally, I had to interrupt her. She acted like it was no big deal. Finally, I interrupted her and asked her, "Do you need to let somebody in or let somebody out or what's going on? What's all that bang?" She goes, "Hold on a second." She grabs the camera and she pans it over to her back door, which are these two big sliding glass windows, and it's a whole family of kangaroo out there. Apparently, her husband made the mistake one morning and fed them. So now for weeks now, every morning at the same time, the whole family of kangaroo show up on her back doorstep for breakfast, and they won't leave until they're fed. So she has to bring the dogs in and everything because she knows that they can kill her dogs, and her
Mm.
dogs aren't happy about it. So I find your country fascinating. Do you like, you know, there was that big story last year about the big mice invasion in one part of your
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
I know you live where just about everything can kill you. How do you deal with that? Do you have many run-ins like that with any of the indigenous species there?
Not really. I mean, as long as you're careful. I mean, we get a few snakes around every now and again. Some nasty spiders. Generally, kangaroos, and yeah, they could kill you, but generally they'll stay away from you unless you
The one
invite them in, or it's like dealing with something that's unwanted. You don't want to exactly invite it into your home and invite it into your life because it's dangerous.
I think the one creature that has jumped to the top of the list of creatures that would scare me to death if I ran into one. And the last guest I had on knew the name of it, and I always forget the name of it. But it looks like uh, a, an extremely prehistoric, nasty version of an ostrich on steroids,
Yeah,
and they're known. Oh, it is. Yeah,
yeah.
those are scary. Um, well, I'm glad you are surviving, and we have to do this. It's been I was looking at my files, and it's been way too long since you and I have visited. So I apologize for that. I've missed you. I'm glad we're hooking up tonight. We had a little bit of wonky signal in the beginning, but that's why we always get together early and we figure it out. And it's understandable too. You're on the other side of the world, so
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that we're even able to do this. It just blows me away. But okay, what do I want to talk to you about? What I think I will do first before I run out of time and forget to do it. I've had many requests this week from fans and followers of yours to ask for a mentalist or psychic or hypnotic or any type of demonstration that you can do if you can
Yep.
on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything
So,
you want to do.
well, I'll have to change the camera so you can see this little table in front of me in a moment. But basically, I was contemplating the tarot and the actual psychological science behind the tarot. If you look at the major arcana and think about Jungian archetypes, they all sort of connect on a subconscious level. So, is it the cards that actually tell the future, or is it the reader that's using them to boost their intuition? Can we use the cards to predict something that's going to happen? So bear with me. I'm just going to change this here so you can see what's going on here. Hopefully, if I pop that there, that won't get in the way of the camera. No, that's not going to stay up. Oh, hang on. Bear with me. Just trying to get you guys set up so you can see what's going on here. Hang on a tick. You're going to look at my ceiling for a moment.
That's your first trick. You disappeared.
I disappeared, but not too bad. Maybe we'll
That
just
looks pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So, I have a deck of cards, of tarot cards. I also have 3 old pennies here and a dice. Now, obviously, if we were in real life, I'd probably get you to shuffle the cards, and I'd probably get you to cut them as well. But you're just going to have to trust me on that they're shuffled and cut.
I
We
trust you.
have 3 old pennies. Let's say one for past, one for present, one for future, and a dice. Now, we're going to have a virtual die. You're just going to have to decide what number the die comes up on. So it's really keeping it random. In a moment, we're going to deal some cards under each penny, and then we're going to use the die to determine how many cards and which card you select out of the shuffled cut deck. So let's pretend you've got the die in your hand and you roll it, a number 1 to 6 inclusive, what would you come up with?
You want me to guess?
Yeah, you can tell me. Just intuitionally, tell me a number.
6.
6. By the way, try to stay away from the death card. I know it cops a bit of rap. It's only about change, but let's avoid it if we can. So 6. So let's deal 6 cards under each penny. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that was 6, wasn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Now, so we have 6 cards under past, 6 cards under present, and 6 cards under future. If you were to roll the dice again, what would it land on?
You want me to guess another number?
Yeah.
7.
There's no 7 on a 6-sided dice.
4.
4. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to deal some cards away. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives us the Fool. That's not bad. Again, you roll the dice. No, we'll just keep on going with 4. I think that's a good number. 1, 2, 3. What do we got? The Hanged Man. We can get rid of those ones. And out of this pack, what do we got there? We've got 1, 2, 3. The Magician. That's a pretty good one. We'll get rid of those two. So it's fair to say that was all your choice. You know, yes, you didn't get to shuffle or cut the cards. I had to do that. But with those random numbers, you know, it could have been 1 to 6 cards on every pile, and the number would have given us a different card off the pile, the second number. So would it be fair to say that was completely random?
Yes.
Now, what would you say if I knew that you would select these particular cards, that I may have influenced you in some way, or I just predicted the future with the cards? So the Fool is on the past. So the Fool is sort of perfect for the past because it's, you know, you're on the new journey, and there's even the little doggy there in the corner. So, you know, that goes along with your veterinary work.
Yeah.
The Hanged Man is an interesting one for the present, you know, sacrificing yourself for others and often seeing things from a different perspective. And the Magician for your future. So, you know, to me, Magician, abracadabra, translates to, you know, I create as I speak, you create your own future, which is great. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
how can I prove that I knew these cards were the ones you would stop at? Well, underneath the penny that's under the Fool is actually engraved the Fool. Under the Hangman here on the opposite side of the penny, we have Hanged Man. And under the Magician, we have engraved Magician. In fact, I was so certain that this is the outcome that would happen. The other cards didn't really matter. And remember, I said there was a card to avoid. Which one was that again?
The Death card.
The Death card. And in fact, every single other card in that deck is the Death card, at how certain I was by telling you to avoid it that you would only end up on these 3 cards.
You're scaring me.
All right, look at that.
Oh, man.
My camera again. Oh, get rid of that. There we go. Oh. Here we go. That's better.
You are lucky I don't live there, because I'd be over there all the time having you show me stuff. I would make such a nuisance out of myself. It's not even funny. You have such a great reputation. I don't think I've spoke to one person that either has spoken to you and knows you that lives here in my country, or anybody that I know, and I've only know a small handful of people over in Australia that knows you, that just that hasn't told me that you're just like one of the most genuine and really just cool people to know and hang around with. Um, so you have a big event coming up. I
Uh,
I ha-
we,
I have to admit, I can't remember the last time I saw Australia, and maybe it had something to do with the pandemic and the lockdowns, and maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But you've got this wonderful um, the Australian Paranormal Conference and Expo 2023 coming up in March.
mm,
That's just a couple of months away. You are on there with, I must say, and I do know some of these other people that are on here, and I've talked to some of the people on here other than you. That looks wonderful. I wish I could get out there. Talk to me about the event. Do you like doing these events? And what do you usually, if fans of yours that can make it to this event, tell them what to expect, what they can expect from seeing you.
well, this event was an interesting one because it was meant to happen in 2020 and obviously got cancelled and through all our lockdowns and whatnot through the pandemic. So this one's been a long time coming. 2020, no, 2021, no, 2023, no. So eventually we're here. It is going to be a fantastic event. They've got some great speakers. For my part, I'm going to actually be demonstrating how we can strengthen our intuition, how magicians can actually, like stage magicians, can actually fake things to a certain extent. So for people to know what to look for what's fake and what's real. And it's just going to be a fun event. My talk is going to end up very interactive. I'm probably going to get a few people up on the stage with me and do some weird things with them to show them how powerful their minds are as well. So it should be a fun event.
Oh, it sounds incredible. Will you be able to do a full blown demonstration like when somebody hires you or somebody goes to see you at a theater? Or will it be more like scaled down?
It will be more intimate. The way I sort of figure it, I do a lot of what I call my psychic party shows. So I go to someone's house, they have a dozen or so guests, and I do the stand up portion and then some readings and question answering. And this will be sort of on a stage, a bit larger, but the whole focus and my whole focus when I do these demonstrations is to try to open people's minds, let them realize that, like the magician that we had before, that what we focus on, what we imagine, what we say, that all creates our reality. And that, a lot of people get stuck by, oh, I'm this is wrong or that's wrong. And they focus on everything that's wrong and they end up in that cycle. So my demonstrations are basically to, just show people how powerful their minds are and how they can consciously use their subconscious thoughts to create a better life for themselves.
Absolutely. Well said. Um, I've been stalking you a little bit the last week or so to prepare for the interview, and I don't have to prepare much because I have a bunch of questions here that fans and followers of yours have sent in. I'll try to get to those, but I know your website is www.esp the number to fear.com. And wonderful website. I love it. And then you also have a YouTube channel, Jason Varga. Now I went to your YouTube channel, and everything there was amazing. But I caught an interview that you did, and I think it was a solo interview. You were just speaking to whoever tuned in. It was you by yourself, I believe, and you were talking about something. It's a little older video, not real old, but a little older, and you're talking about something that even today it was so relevant to what's happening today in our field, what I see every day. So I'm just going to throw this at you and ask you if there's anything you want to comment on it. Every day I run into people that reach out to me for help, and they're already mad at me when they reach out. They have to reach out for help because they don't know what to do. Their life's been turned upside down. Um, they feel like something's unseen force is trying to kill them. Yes, there's some people that in my intake form, I lose a lot of them because if one of the big questions is, have you ever been, or anybody in your family, immediate family, ever been clinically diagnosed with a mental illness? And if they don't lie to me and they're honest and they say, well, yes, my dad or my mother or my brother or my sister, or yes, I have, but I'm really experiencing what I'm telling you I'm experiencing. Yes, they could truly be experiencing what they're telling me they're experiencing. I have met people that are clinically diagnosed schizophrenic that I honestly believe are being tormented by the demonic. But unfortunately, legally wise, my hands are tied once that happens, especially here in this country. They come down on you hard if you try to step on the toes of a physician who's got this patient under their care. You've got to be very, very careful. Having said that, I get these people that reach out to me that I just sent $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 to this online exorcist who said he could perform an exorcism over the phone or by Skype or by Zoom, and nothing helped, and things are even worse now. And I'm not going to call anybody out here, but I'm thinking that one person comes to mind that he gets his church full, and he gets these people up, and I've sat there and watched some of these films with with licensed uh, therapists who can see the warning signs of mental illness on a lot of these people, and none of these people are being held up by two, muscular assistants, and they get hit in the head by the Bible, and they get their head grabbed and thrown around, and then they're delivered. You gave a great speech on one of your films on your site about the dangers of the false prophets, the fraudulent exorcists, and that forth. I would like you to speak on that matter because your words were brilliant, and it's just something that to this day I still fight.
It's interesting actually because talking about the paranormal conference, the team, one of the Australian paranormal teams, every now and again I'll get a call, and because I walk in both worlds, the psychology and hypnosis and whatnot aspect, and the paranormal aspect, I'll quite often get a call and we got this fellow, we want you to have a look at him, swears he's possessed or he's got an attachment, we want your opinion. And it's a roll of the dice when they walk through the door. Generally speaking, as soon as they walk through my entrance into my house, I'll know. But I always sort of sit them down. As you said, you have an intake form. I go through a bunch of questions with them and give them my diagnosis, whether it's paranormal or psychological. The problem is, as you said, a lot of schizophrenics and that have demonic stuff going on as well. Because think about it, an attachment's not going to attach itself onto a very aware, very evolved, very with it person. But if a person has already got psychological stuff going on, or even if, let's say, they're taking some drugs that give them some experiences as well, that attachment's going to go, oh, wow, that person's not going to realize I'm even here, and attach themselves to that person. So it is an interesting one when you get those sort of people. And there are a lot of scam artists out there. We're talking about what you focus on. What you focus on becomes your reality. I've heard of dodgy readers who turn around and tell a client, "Oh, you're a magnet for possession. You've signed a contract with the devil in a previous life and all this sort of stuff. But we can fix it up for, as you said, $3, $4, $5,000. It's a scam. It's a total scam for people to get someone that is already in a vulnerable position, knowing that it's a psychological thing, and then putting all this fear into them so that they're handing over money. To me, I always say get a couple of different opinions. Go to a psychic, go to a medium, go to an exorcist, go to a psychologist, go to a psychiatrist. The more tools you have in your toolbox, the better. The more information you have, the better. We were dealing with a young chap who did have both going on, and it came down to it. I had to intervene at the end and say to him, look, I know you don't want to be on your medication, but for me to work with you and get you in a pure, cleaner place, you need to go on the medication that your psychiatrist has
absolutely
told you to take, so that the medication isn't a fix. It's a Band-Aid, but it brings them down to a level that then we can work with them much easier. When he wasn't on his medication, it was just a nightmare to try to work with him.
I have on 3 occasions been in assisted living facilities for the aged, and most of these places, even hospitals, but most of these places also have, in addition to having these elderly people who are sick and very vulnerable, you have they have elderly people in there that have mental disorders in certain parts of the hospital. And I have gone in, either wearing a ghost be gone hat, or I was there doing clergy work and had my clerics on or what have you. And I've had people that work there come up to me very, like, kind of, making sure that they don't make a scene because they could get in trouble, and be very honest with me and tell me, you got to come in here one night at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and see what's going on. There's some people here that I'm a God-fearing person. I'm a Christian, or I'm a Catholic, or I didn't believe in this stuff before I started working here, but there's something going on here, and I believe that there's some people here possessed, and you can't get in there. You can't get into these facilities and help. Do you run into much of that?
I do a little bit. Anyone can tell you I have an aversion to hospitals. I hate going into hospitals. For me, I walk into a hospital and I automatically start feeling physically ill because of the energy around and the various things around. A lot of the times I'm more susceptible, I guess, to energy. So if I walk into a place that there has been a lot of violence or has been a lot of sorrow or death, that stuff seeps into the walls, and I pick that up a lot quicker than I say would pick up something in spirit. So that's sort of my go-to first. It's like, right, check out the environment. Is it environmental? Is it in the walls, so to speak? Or is there something else going on? Is there malevolent, I can never say the word, bad spirits hanging around? So to me, when someone rings up for a house cleansing or anything like that, again, the same set of questions, are you on drugs? Are you, any psychological problems? Go into the house, You generally feel it as soon as you walk in the door. And sometimes working with someone's belief system, so sometimes someone will be so tied to the idea that their house is haunted, but they've got a few other things going on, maybe stress, imagination, or something else. But a lot of the times you can't get that across to them because they're so tied to this idea. No, my house has got evil spirits in it. So even just going through the motions and doing a house cleansing anyway. I mean, what's the harm in it anyway? The intention's there. But even just going through the motions of it puts that person more at ease. And if there is something there and you've gotten rid of it, great. If there wasn't something there, their belief in you is so strong that they feel like you've solved the problem anyway. So,
And you have because you know the power of the mind. And if you
yeah,
can get that person to focus their mind and put that energy towards that belief, that's powerful.
yeah.
I'm going to throw another question at you. If I throw anything at you that you just think is silly or you don't want to talk about
Oh,
or
no, that's okay. That's okay.
you know me, you just tell me I'd rather move on off that topic. But a lot of people don't know this about. Everybody knows you're a great entertainer and you're very talented. Um, I don't think I've ever seen a more talented hip hypnotherapist or a person that can hypnotize people other than you. Having said that, I remember working a case once, a possession case, and I got this crazy idea. Uh, I think outside the box a lot, and more times than not, I hate to admit it, I get myself in trouble. But sometimes you just, you you don't know what else to do. You're just trying to, come up with some other answers, some other ways to approach certain problems. And I came up with this. I was just so certain that if I could reach when the entity had manifested through this client that I was working with, I was so convinced that if I could, con- well, very silly of me to think this, if I could somehow get into the mind of the demonic and control him long enough to speak to the client who was possessed, who I believed was still in there,
Mm,
that the client could help fight from the inside out. So I came up with this idea, and I felt bad afterwards because things didn't end well. But I brought in one of, and I won't say his name. I brought in a very talented, highly respected hypnotist into this case, and the plan was to try to hypnotize the demon once it manifested itself,
mm,
to be able to speak through it and then talk to the person that was inside there to fight
mm,
from the other
mm.
side. Um, what do you think about it when I throw that story? I'll be honest with you, it didn't end well. I don't mean to laugh, but it didn't end well. I should have known better.
Look,
But what do you think when I throw something like that at you, being a very talented, sought after hypnotist?
I can understand what got you to that point and thought processes because you know a lot of it is experimentation. You go, oh, I wonder if this would, would have it worked? Maybe just coming at it from a different track and going, okay, uh, maybe it's not possible to hypnotize an entity or a demon because they're not geared the same as the way we are. They haven't got the same psychology as us. And, a lot of them can read your mind so they know the intention of what's going on anyway. So to me, I guess the only way that I could see that actually working is there's there's some old stuff out there with hypnosis from the 1930s and 40s. I have a old book there, Experimental Hypnosis, which has got some amazing stuff in it that you just don't see these days. And one of it would be, what my go-to in that situation would be a confusion technique and confuse the entity, or getting the person to physically rest. So it might be, there's an old dodgy technique out there that used to be used by stage hypnotists, where they would cut off, I think it's the vagus nerve and the carotid artery, just by touching your neck in a certain place, and blah, 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 blah. But they're actually stopping the oxygen flow to your brain, and you pass out. But that may have been the extreme necessity to get this person into that state, and put everything to a sleep, so that when you're talking, you are talking to the person that's inside there. You're talking to the person's subconscious. It would be something I would really have to sit down. If someone, rang me up and said, I want you to do this, I would have to sit down and really come up with a game plan and really think it through and think about all the alternatives. Okay, so what would happen here? What would happen here? How am I going to do this? How am I going to get them under to a certain extent? I guess my main red flag there is, if you're putting the person more into a trance state, that's just going to give the entity more power to be in the driver's side. So it would really be a matter of somehow getting that person, even if it included anesthesia, getting them into a point where they're physically asleep and just bombarding their subconscious with positive affirmations that'll still get through there, still get heard, that they can fight this, and so that when they wake up, they've got all that, sort of coming to the fore. But it would probably be one that I'd have to sit down and really nut out a game plan for. I wouldn't try to do it off the cuff.
Yeah, I love talking to you about this topic because it's right in your wheelhouse, because you are a very talented entertainer also. And another thing I love about you is that you're upfront with your approach. I mean, you do wear many hats. You are a great entertainer, but when it comes to the paranormal, your approach is that, okay, now all of the for entertainment purposes only stuff I'm putting way over here, and now I'm here as your paranormal advisor and to try to help you with the issues at hand. And I'm finding more and more a lot of people that are like, I have another friend out here who's a very gifted magician, but he's also an extremely passionate paranormal investigator. And he's able to divide the two. He doesn't bring his magician stuff into his paranormal stuff, and vice versa. And I'm not going to call anybody else out, but there's like a person here in town who's got a museum, and the museum was designed. A lot of people don't know, but the workings of the museum on the inside were designed by a famous magician. So like when you get the cold air and the other weird things that happen in there, some of it may be legitimately paranormal. Some of it definitely is not. Yeah. But I don't go for that either. I mean, I don't think that's cool unless you advertise right from the beginning. This is for entertainment purposes only, which I might start doing for my own show at the beginning. Make that announcement. Although I try to be as truthful and upfront as possible, and my guests like you are the same. But I might even throw that out at the beginning, because for whatever reason. But
I think it is something that a lot of people mix stuff and mix mediums. Look, even Uri Geller, who in my mind is a very, very talented, very, very special man. I mean, he must be a good 20 or so years older than me, and he looks younger than me. He's got something going on. But he would mix magician's tricks with his demonstrations, because he was under so much pressure to perform each and every night and have it happen perfectly each and every night. And this is why when I'm doing demonstrations, if now and again I can't connect with someone and it fails miserably, I actually love it because I go, well, there you go. It's, you know, just a little bit of proof that this is real. You know, if this was a magic trick, it would work 100% because I don't want to fail. But yeah, you know, it's interesting because my wife and I, late last year, did a quick tour of England and France, and you know, Stonehenge, the Paris catacombs, bucket list things that I just were amazing. But even through the language barrier, we're at a cafe, pub thing late at night, bar, and these French people were watching the magician, but the magician was all in English, and a lot of things were getting miscommunicated, so it wasn't really working well for him. And as soon as I was doing things with tuning in, even though I was speaking English, they were speaking French, there was still this language barrier because the connection between the mind, I knew what the intentions were and the thoughts were, regardless of the language. So, you know, it really worked, you know, and that's where you can say, yeah, get rid of the magician's tricks, do it for real, and you can cross all languages as well.
In just the under 5 minutes I have left, I'm going to throw this at you real quick because I get so many people coming to me so stressed out. And, you know, they know that I'm going to tell them, you know, pray the rosary, pray to God, ask for discernment on with your issues. And many people will come back to me. I'm still so stressed out. I've done that. I'm praying till I'm blue in the face, and God is helping me, but I'm still so stressed. I saw another video on your YouTube channel, and I may be wrong here. Is it Kajong?
Oh, Qigong, yeah.
Qigong. Now,
Yeah.
when I saw that, what was interesting to me about that was I talk to Buddhists all the time. I've never met a mean Buddhist in my life, and I know they practice that deity yoga where they invite spirit possession. And then you hear a lot of people in my field advise against yoga being a bad thing. And I met a lot of yoga people that seem okay to me, but I saw that demonstration you did of that, and I even did a little bit of it, and it really calmed me down. Just a few minutes I did in the beginning of some of the things you showed really calmed me down, got my breathing going, which was great. Um, Real quick, in the few minutes I've got left before I have to say bye, talk about that real quick because I know there's people watching that would
Yeah.
benefit from this.
Yeah, so Qigong, you can look it up. There's, you know, or look up the videos on my YouTube. It's a moving meditation. A lot of people, when you say to them, you know, do you meditate, do you pray, you know, they can't sit still. With Qigong, it's a moving meditation. It's mind, body, and spirit. It's opening up everything. You're doing your breathing, you're concentrating on your breathing. Once you get to the point where you can do the moves at an unconscious level that just on autopilot is where it becomes a really good meditation, and you can really focus on what each move metaphorically means, you know, parting the clouds, being able to see clearly, you know, calming the waters symbolically in our subconscious is emotions. So as soon as you're calming your waters, you're calming your emotions down. So, you know, if there is anyone that can't get over stresses and anxieties, you know, even from the States, I've had people, you know, say, you know, what can I do about this? And every now and again, I'll record someone a meditation and I'll say to them, listen to it for 21 days, a month, for it to become your new program. But I sneakily put in little triggers. So little good anchors that, you know, something that they can do with their hands that will trigger that calm response they were doing in the meditation. So if you can anchor someone to a calm state and give them a trigger to use, then they can use that anywhere. You might be down the shops and have an anxiety attack going on and just go, oh, yeah, waters are calm. I'm ready to go now.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, Qigong is a really good moving meditation. Tai Chi is the same, although Tai Chi is, the longer forms are a lot more complex.
I'm going to highly recommend everybody go to your YouTube channel and find that video, your beginners, if you will, demonstration of the first few moves of that. It's very interesting, and you're like it's Tai Chi like, but I know Tai Chi's different, and maybe
Yeah,
that's why it's
same
worked for me.
school, same, but Qigong is more energy focused, with Tai Chi is more of the physical focus.
Did you have fun? Will you come back?
I will.
You
And
you
then next
you
time,
blow my mind every time I have you on. I mean, I'm gonna be my wife's. I can smell whatever she's cooking in there. I'm gonna go in there and have dinner with her after this, and I know she was probably watching on her laptop, and I know she's gonna be blown away by that too. It's just so simple, so subtle, but just so entertaining. And I don't know how you do it. So I love you. I respect you. I wish you the best. I know you recently had a wedding anniversary. God bless you and your wife.
thank you.
Um, have a great remainder of your Tuesday, and I'm going to head back to Monday. Uh, Yesterday in Vegas. I love you. I respect you, brother. I'll be in touch. I'll have you back a couple of times more this year. Okay.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me on.
Have a great evening, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
I
Good night. Jason D. Varga. www.esp.tofear.com and then Jason Varga on YouTube. Check him out. All right, guys. Um, communitypayitforward.us. Communitypayitforward.us. Go there. Find somebody that needs some help. See if you can help them. The usocc.org. usocc.org. That's my church. If you're interested in knowing a little bit about my church, go to the website. It's all there. If you're interested in Bible study, Wednesday and Sunday afternoons at 5 p.m. Pacific, or if you're interested in night prayer, which is Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, go to bishopjameslong.com and scroll down to the bottom of his homepage. The link to both of those events are there. Check that out if you need a little more God in your life, and who couldn't use a little more God in their life. I want to thank my co-producers, Adrian and Zach Clayton. Couldn't do the show without them because I am completely computer illiterate and it would be a mess. Trust me. Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. Thank you to Skeleton Key Network. Thank you to Pact, little p, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel, for all of these networks simulcasting my show. Thank you all for that, and God bless you all for that. I will be here this coming Friday with an all new, brand new show. Friday, January 20th. Keep your passports out because we're headed to the UK. Psychic medium, paranormal enthusiast, witch, the one and only Wendy Hollins will be my guest this coming Friday the 20th. That's going to be a great show. I know I say this a lot, but I really do mean it. I know you guys know I mean it, but thank you all for spending an hour with me on your busy. We're actually in Tuesday now in Australia, but I'm going to zap us all back to Monday. Thanks, Charles. I'm going to zap us all back to Monday in Vegas. But it's bad joke time. I'm going to say a bad joke that one of you sent in. I'm going to pull it out of this haunted carnival barker hat. And this is my poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say goodnight. Okay, I'm going to give it a shot here. I don't know if I get this one. Why did the baby cookie cry? Because its mother was away for so long. Actually, that's pretty good. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. What do you sent the joke in? Don't blame me. And if you ever have an issue with the special effects here, talk to my co-producer. All right, I love him. He did a great job. I love that today. But now we're gonna zap back to Monday in Vegas, the 16th. I love you all. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. God bless you all. Peace.